Hey guys, Eric Sachetta here, and welcome to the Live the Movie Team Weekly Google Hangout team meeting. And if this is the first time you actually joining us, you probably follow myself, one of the leaders here on the screen, or one of the leaders that is watching on our main page. And you want to learn what our team's all about. And the topic tonight, we're going to talk about passion, why it's so important to talk and write and communicate about things that you're passionate about, and what the difference is when you communicate about things you're passionate about versus things you're not passionate about. And then we have a few things that we can let you in on. You know, the first thing is tomorrow starts our communication for our Live the Movie Academy, which actually launches on March 1st, which is next Tuesday, but the first free video that we have is available tomorrow. And then, of course, many of us here on the screen are part of a network marketing company. So if you're looking for an income opportunity with like-minded people, at the end we'll give you a chance to join our team as well if that's something that you're excited about. So I just want to start with that topic of passion. Somebody actually pointed out to me today, which is why I decided I wanted to talk about this, is they had pointed me back to some of the videos that I had made at different times and pointed me back to the fact that when I'm talking about certain things, my body language is different. I don't say and ah and all that stuff. And when I talk about other things, that happens a lot. And I thought that was interesting because I say to myself, well, if my skill level of public speaking is fairly static on a day-to-day basis, what makes the difference between talking in a way that's very confident and certain versus being uncertain and unsure and throwing in those ums and ahs and, you know, going off course and not being excited? And what I realized was, as I reviewed some of those videos, the difference was the ones where I was, you know, passionate and certain were things that I was so excited about versus maybe the videos that I did I needed to get out there. But whatever I was talking about, I wasn't so passionate that I put all my energy into it and was so certain about what I was saying that someone could feel that, you know, across the room or through the you know, through the video there, whatever the form of communication is. You can literally feel that. You could read a blog post, you could watch a video, you could do any form of communication like that, and you can actually feel someone's passion and their certainty in terms of whatever that is that they're talking about. You know, we're not going to talk about politics specifically on this call, but when you talk about some of the candidates, you know, some of the people that analyze body language and different things like that, it's actually the people that are certain with what they're saying and confident and believe in what they're saying and say it with assertiveness because they really believe what they're saying, that actually influence people versus the people that might have all the credentials, might have the background and all that, but if they don't talk in a way that their body language and everything besides just their words communicate the same message that their words are saying, people just get this uneasy feeling and they seem to gravitate to other people. And you know, for me, my passion, my number one passion is talking about personal development and leadership. And the reason is that changed my whole life. You know, back in 2007 on Christmas Eve, I was at the low point in my life and I literally had to make a decision. I had to either give up or decide to make a change, and I did it. In an instant, I changed my whole life. Now, I didn't all of a sudden get all these results and magically know everything and become passionate about life, but in one moment, I made the decision to do things differently. And I know there's many people that are in that space. They're completely lost. And I also know there's a lot of people, which is the majority of people that follow me and follow a lot of the other leaders, that are in a different place. And the other place that people usually end up communicating with our group and with myself is that someone's interested in developing themselves. They take some action, but it's not consistent action. And they don't understand why there's periods of time where they set goals and they follow them, they go after them, but then there's spaces in between. There's times where they're not setting goals, they're not passionate, and they kind of go like this, right? And that's one of the things I had to figure out is how do you either eliminate or make very short those times where you have those laps. And that's when you have to be developing yourself. And that's why that's my number one passion is personal development, is because I know that if I could help you unlock what's already inside of you, you have the skills to be able to do amazing things. You know, there's people watching this hangout that are way better than me at art. Of course, Mallory's way better than me at art, but you know, there's different things that people are way better at me than, but there's also the possibility that someone might not be asking themselves the right questions, setting up the right routines, following through on the mindset part of it to then go implement a strategy that they are way better at than I may be. And that's how I feel like I can play a role. You know, my tagline is both live the movie. You know, your life is like a movie, and you're the protagonist, and you go through challenges, and you overcome them, and you inspire other people. But my number one quote is, you are always the answer. But if I can help you unlock what's already inside of you, I felt like I've done my part to allow your talents and everything that you have inside of you to come through. And I actually feel that that's my obligation, and that's why I'm so passionate about it. If I have stuff that I've learned, and you know, I say I organize it in a way like I wrote a book and Mallory helped me edit it. You know, we have this course coming out, and a lot of times people say, well, what if people aren't, someone's not interested in this, or your obligation is not to tell people they have to do something. It's to present it to them. Hey, I learned all this information. I went all around here and learned all this stuff, and it changed my life, right? It completely changed my life. And if you were to learn it in a more simple, compact way, you might be able to have the same type of breakthroughs, but they're not going to end up with the same results as me, because you have different goals, you have different passions, and you have different skills than I may have. But if I can help teach you a few things to unlock that, that makes all the difference. And of course, our team here plays a big role in that, because they're all a part of this, right? They're a part of our network marketing team, and also a part of the community that's so passionate about personal development, because they've also had those stories. They've had their December 31st, 2007 moments. They've had their moments where they were down and move forward. And they've also had their moments where they're going after it, but they're not as consistent. And that's why it's so important to talk about things you're passionate about, and this is what I'm passionate about. Here's the science behind talking about stuff you're passionate about or not passionate about, right? The problem is when you talk about something you're not passionate about, there's a level of uncertainty, and you don't even know if you believe what you're saying, if you even believe what you're saying is correct, like factually. You know, I used to really not enjoy public speaking in school. But let me ask you a question. If you've never done something before, like public speaking, and the first like 50 times you do it, you end up speaking about something that you're told you have to speak about rather than something you want to speak about, how is it likely that a large percentage of people then would be passionate about public speaking, right? That's why it's become one of the biggest fears. When we learn most likely talking about stuff that we're not passionate about, so we attach this association, right? You know, we should be teaching kids how to pick something they're excited about and talk about that in front of a group, so they create those associations. So that's what's so powerful about it, is having that level of certainty. And if you're not even believing whatever it is you're saying, neither are the people that are watching you say it or following you. And you might even be saying all the words right. You know, many of the leaders on our team have worked in sales before, and there are times where it's like, I'm saying all the right things. Why is it not happening? Well, your face, your body, your emotions might be saying something completely different than the words that are coming out of your mouth. And that comes from a lack of passion or lack of focus on the passionate part about what you're talking about. When you do that, people will come to you. People will come to you in droves, because they're saying, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, but I know this person knows what they're doing, and they know where they're going. I should follow them, because they're going to help me get where I want to go. And even if you don't articulate whatever it is you're saying in the most perfect way, but you do it with passion and enthusiasm, and you're willing to, kind of allow people to say, hey, this is where I'm going, are you coming? People are going to be attracted to that, so that's very powerful. So I was going to let my panel here, if they wanted to share, some of our leaders on our team here, just talk about why, either maybe an example you have, or why it's so important to talk about things you're passionate about versus things you're not passionate about. I know some of you guys have different, blogs and Instagram accounts and things like that, and you find that the places you get the best results are when you're talking about the subjects that you would want to talk about, whether anyone was listening or not, right? You're telling a friend, you're having a conversation, you're blogging, but no one's even reading it. It doesn't matter. You would be talking about that stuff anyway. So does anyone have an example or, a way of looking at passion?
Yeah, I would say, I would just say that when you're passionate about something, like you said with the body language, it really shows through. And I think when you mentioned in school doing speeches about things we don't really care about, I think one of the biggest fears that I had was public speaking too, and it makes total sense because of that fact. Like I didn't care about what I was talking about. It was an assignment about a history class I had to talk about or something like that. So it's interesting to think about the way we were trained in traditional education and how if you just let the creativity come through, it could make all the difference. So that just reminded me of not liking public speaking initially, and that's most likely why.
Yeah, there's a breakthrough for you, but that's the problem. Obviously, education is really important. I'm not trying to bash education. All I'm saying is that we've created these associations because we don't promote passion and creativity that make no sense, right? Public speaking is really not that scary once you start doing it, but if you learn in an environment that doesn't reinforce it, then it's very difficult to move forward in your adult life and be excited about it. So that's a great example. Seemed like a light bulb moment for you, Mallory. That was cool. Does anyone else have anything to share about, example of something they're passionate about, or just looking at passion in general and why it's so important to really, if you're going to be in a forum to write a book or a blog or have a course or anything, it's got to be something you're passionate about. I can't hear you, Dario. I don't. He's so passionate about whatever he's saying, he blew the microphone. That's what happened. Oh man. So yeah, if you get back on, then you can interrupt me if the volume comes back and I hear you, but I can't hear you. But yeah, so the other thing about passion is not only when you communicate something like you're talking like this, but you're also willing to put in the work for whatever it is you're talking about, right? When you're not passionate about something and something goes wrong, then you're saying, oh, I put time into it. Oh, I spent money on it. Oh, look at all the things. I deserve to have this result and that result. When it's something you're passionate about, you're like, no, I know this is the right thing. I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I believe in this so much that I'm willing to continually talk about it until we actually get the result, or I actually am able to make the difference I want to make, or whatever the example may be. And I think that's so powerful because so many people are in a position where people get labeled as lazy or not passionate, or they don't learn well or something like that. And I just look at it, I'm like, that's just a bunch of crap, right? I know some people, there's people in my family and people that are really close to me that say, oh, I have a learning disability, or I have this issue. And there are some people that do have true learning disabilities. But then you look at them and you observe a person, right? And you're like, well, they're not learning in a way that they learn. They're a different type of learner. And they're not talking about a single thing they're passionate about. But then you have them do or talk about something they're passionate about, and they go off on fire, right? A lot of times, just an example, it could be, the typical example, right, is like maybe someone's interested in sports, and they're all passionate when they watch TV about sports and all that stuff, and the response is, well, they're not really a great learner, but they're passionate about sports, but you can't do anything in sports. Yeah, you could. You could be an announcer. You could be a journalist. You could be a general manager. If you end up making some money, you could be the owner. There's so many places in there, and because we talk about the traditional ways of doing stuff, you don't acknowledge the fact that someone might be passionate about something that's a little bit different than what most people are passionate about. But if you can notice those moments and you can attach learning to that, then people can go off and do whatever they want. So it's so powerful because one of the biggest things I've learned through my entire personal development journey is sometimes, the whole concept of, you can do anything, right? And people's response is, no, you can't do anything, right? You can't fly, right? A human can't fly. Well, you can. They invented those like bat suit things, right? And the people go flying around. So maybe you can't do everything the way that the words specifically say it, but if you're creative enough, if you're passionate enough, if you're excited enough, if you're willing to think far enough outside the box, you really can do anything. You have to think about it in a different way, and that's where creativity and passion creates new opportunities, creates different things, and that's what I get so excited about. I get excited about learning and teaching other people what I've learned so that their talents and their passions can shine through so that they can do some amazing things and influence other people. I know there's many people that are a lot smarter than me that follow me on social media or email, and to have those people learn some of the concepts I have and then go make a difference, it's just unbelievable to see that happen. You know, I always look at, when I hear a new name of someone I start to follow, I start to say, who are the people that they were following and how did they get there, right? You know, at our mastermind a couple weeks ago, Dario actually gave a talk and then played an audio about Jim Rohn, who is Tony Robbins' mentor, his mentor. It was an audio about Jim Rohn's mentor, and it's like, oh, that's so funny. This guy taught this guy who taught this guy who taught this guy. And it was so funny, you know, a while back I started thinking about some people that I know that have been very successful, and I said, well, I'm not sure that they've learned from some of the people I've learned, but they think the same way, and they do the same things, and so on and so forth. A couple examples was, one was my dad, and one was my dentist, right? So I know my dad had read personal development books and has tons of books and all that stuff, but I started to say, well, has he learned like some of the principles I learned from Tony Robbins that are so different from what everybody else teaches? I had that thought, and literally 2 weeks later, I was looking through his books, and I found Unlimited Power by Tony Robbins, and he read that book the year that his accounting business took off. Not a coincidence, right? Then the next time I go to the dentist, I started talking about, oh, I wrote a book with Brian Tracy and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this guy is just running his dental office way different. He can't just learn from dentists. He's got to be learning from other people. And he says he knows who Brian Tracy is and whatever. And then he goes, you know what really took my practice to the next level? 20 years ago, I actually read a book by Tony Robbins called Unleash the Power Within. And I was like, what? So this isn't all about Tony. It's just an example of knowing that if you do what you do here and you make a difference in the lives of other people, decades down the line, that impact can come through in other people and different things. My dad's an accountant. My dentist is obviously a dentist. There's people doing different things, but their passion and creativity was brought out by someone who teaches personal development and is really passionate about it. So, you know, that's the main thing that I had to share tonight about passion. Dario, did we get your microphone back? Any ideas? No? Oh, well. Well, we'll have to have him share at a different time. But anyway, so, you know, so we, one of the things that, you know, we're working on, like I said, you know, if you're someone who's in a situation where, you know, you want to take your income to the next level, you know that you've developed yourself and you say, hey, I just need to, you know, join something, have some accountability, I want to learn how to make some money, be a part of a system but not necessarily have my own business but have a lot of the benefits of it, and be a part of a community like ours, then you actually can click the link below this video and sign up for a 2-week $7 trial of our system, and whoever sent you here will actually be your coach. So they'll reach out to you once you join and you know, welcome you to our group on Facebook, and then after you watch the welcome videos and the fast start videos, they'll actually be able to connect with you, have a call, and make a plan to get started. So people looking for an income opportunity and accountability like our group, there's definitely that opportunity, and we'd love to have you. Now, the one other thing we're going to talk about, which is more of a time-sensitive opportunity, is that on Tuesday, the group here and myself actually put together what's called the Live the Movie Academy. And what it is it's a community to help entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, network marketers, and salespeople learn the psychology and the mindsets to be able to follow a mission in their life and to achieve the things that they want to achieve at a high level. And the Academy is actually an opportunity to work alongside with us. We'll do 6 months of group coaching along with all the modules that we have based on the 8 mandates of personal leadership, which is the subject of my teaching, which is all about, how do you lead yourself at the highest level to make the difference that you want to make in the world. And the reason it's such an urgent thing is because when we launch this on Tuesday, the first 100 people that join are going to get a special price and over $1,000 in bonuses when they join. So when they join right away, so when you join, you get over $1,000 in bonuses. And the other thing is we are going to start our first call the second week of March. So only in that first week there, when people join in that time period, are you going to get the special price, the bonuses, and make sure that you're there for our first group coaching session as well. So I know that many of the people on the panel are fired up about our academy. I know Mallory and Dario were at our mastermind, so they know a lot about the information that's going to be shared in there. I know Dario would love to share, but I don't know if his microphone's working, so I'll ask Mallory, what she's excited about this academy, and I know that she's excited to be a part of it, and I'm sure she'd be excited for you guys to join as well.
Yeah, I am super excited about it. It's more than just, I know we're all part of the network marketing group, but it's just a really cool resource that you're able to use for anything that you're pursuing in life, not just with network marketing or something online. So I'm just excited to be a part of something that's such a huge resource where there's some similar programs out there, but nothing as unique as this. So I'm just really excited to share all the information and meet new people who are going to be part of the group, so I'm excited.
Cool, that's awesome. And obviously, Mallory, I know your excitement and enthusiasm comes from knowing a lot about this. You helped me write the book, but also you're at the mastermind, and something happens when you're there live with people to know that we're all passionate about what we're talking about and adding people to a community. Dario, do we have you or no? Oh man, don't know what's happening, but that's all right. Anyway, just having that group and having that people that are excited to learn and grow. And like Mallory said, a network marketing company is awesome, but it's a specific resource for a specific reason. Whereas this, you learn the principles, you can apply it to anything that you're doing in life to take it to the next level, and that's what's so powerful. You are the answer. We're just here to help guide you along the way, but not necessarily knowing more than you do about whatever the area is that you want to make the biggest difference in. And it was interesting what Mallory said. There's a lot of resources out there, but this is a unique resource. And I agree with that. There's a lot of people that have different experiences, but I'd have to say that my experience combined with the experience of the people that helped create the academy, there's actually no one that's had that same experience. One of the reasons I learn from so many different people and programs, the reasons I do that is because everyone takes the combination of everything they've learned and all the things that their mentors have taught them and package it in a way to teach something at a slightly different angle than someone else might be teaching, right? I was a part of Tony Robbins' exclusive Platinum Partnership Group in 2013. Cost $65,000 a year to be a part of, and I was a part of that group. So I got to learn some amazing stuff from him and got to talk to him personally. But if you combine that with all of the stuff I've learned from books and audio tapes and all that, I bring a unique angle from being a part of that group and those books and audio tapes. And what I do and what every good author and speaker and course leader does is they say, hey, you might know some of these principles, but you might not know them in the same order I'm teaching, and you also might not know these gaps that I've learned that you might not have learned in other things you've learned, because if I would already have learned them, I wouldn't have to, wouldn't be in a position where I need to teach it to other people. And filling in those gaps is ultimately what it's all about. Dario's exercise that we did at the mastermind was amazing, because if you listen to what Jim Rohn's mentors said, that's a lot of the stuff Jim Rohn says. That's a lot of stuff Tony says. That's a lot of stuff that Brian Tracy says, and so on says, and I say, and Mallory says, and Rob, and everybody says. But it's just slightly different, packaged in a slightly different way that connects with different people and fills in those gaps. And that's why I'm so passionate about it, is because there's a lot of people out there that take courses, read books, are a part of different things, but they don't take that action and actually follow through. And if I can help someone do that, you there?
Hello.
Yep, got ya.
Hello.
We can hear ya.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hello?
Yeah,
Now?
we can hear
Oh, nice. I have no idea what happened.
you.
Well,
Cool. So why don't we have you jump in and then I'll kind of wrap it up.
yeah, it's no problem. So we were talking about passion. Absolutely. I believe that if you just focus on one thing and you put all your heart into it, you'll have you'll gain the confidence that you need. And that's what happens with a lot of people. Like when Mallory was sharing the her going back through in high school, college, whatever that was. When you're doing public speaking, sometimes you don't feel as confident. It's because 100% into whatever you're learning and stuff like that. So about our academy, I'm also excited as well because we're building an amazing team, and the people that we're going to be helping is gonna be nice because we are going to be remembered for what we do and what we are here for. So we're very happy to help people, especially with our surrounding ourselves with amazing people. So what else? I think that's it.
Yeah,
Back to you.
cool. Yeah, no problem. That's awesome, and I could feel you're passionate about it right there. So that's exciting. And I liked what you said, Dario, about the way we are able to influence people, and also talking about it's all ultimately about who we become and what we contribute to other people. And for those of you who decide to join our academy, that's the first thing that I say before teaching any of the modules and the courses and all this stuff. I basically say, what is this game of life really all about? Not just to live the movie, but like the whole, what's the target? What are we really trying to do? And I spent the first 30 or 45 minutes of the modules talking about, hey, these are the targets. These aren't the targets. The target's not the $1 million, the car, all that stuff. That's something you get by hitting the targets. The targets are something completely different. And when you start from that frame of reference, you then can learn some of those concepts you've learned before in a different order, but also with that different frame of reference that will help you. You guys know that whole concept of, when you have like a locker combination, right? Maybe in middle school you had the locker combination, or you have a phone number, right? If you type in all the right numbers, but you do it in the wrong order, the phone won't dial the other person, or your locker won't open. That's what this opportunity and that's what this course can really teach. And that's why we're so excited about this at this moment, is we know the information that we have and how powerful it can be for other people. So here's what it's all about. So for those of you who follow me, I'll be posting tomorrow the link to the first free video on basically everywhere: Facebook, Twitter, Google, everything that you can find, it'll be out there. If you follow one of the other leaders on our team, I've sent them information on how you can get that from them. So, wherever you follow them, if you're on their email list or on their Facebook group or something like that, they have the resources to post that information if they'd like to as well. So wherever you got that from, whoever you've been following and how you've been following them, you'll have a chance to hear about that stuff as well. So I'm excited about getting this process started tomorrow, and there's going to be some real teaching in the first couple free videos tomorrow and on Saturday, and then on Tuesday we get things started. So I'm really excited about it. Anything else you guys wanted to share before we wrap up for tonight?
Sure, yeah. I just wanted to say one more thing.
Yep.
Never be afraid. Like some people, like myself back then, I used to be afraid of buying stuff. Don't be afraid of buying stuff. That's the best way that's the only way you're going to learn and get the resources. If Eric or Mallory didn't go to that event or get that book or anything like that, then you're never going to learn it. So don't be afraid of spending money, especially when you're working with people, and that's the best way to learn. So.
Absolutely. But
Yeah.
I know you said that's a great point. Don't be afraid to buy stuff. But I never look at any of the courses or programs I've bought as buying something. I've always looked at it as an investment, because it all comes back to you in the long run. And you know that, Dario. You buy tons of courses. So it all comes back to you in the long run. You look at college. If you went to college as an investment, it's just you got to, because it's an outside course and it's not something traditional, you have to frame it in your mind in a different way. Otherwise, you'll be rushing to get something out of it instead of saying this is a process like taking a class, right? There's the whole semester, and I'm going to try to get everything I can in the long run out of the class. It's the same thing here. So just keep that in mind. It's all about investing in your future. And the people that grow the most, invest the most in their future, and throughout their entire lives end up taking a portion of their income investing in themselves. So absolutely. Mallory, did you have something left to share?
Yeah, I mean, just in regards to the academy itself, I just wanted to share that it could be the key to what will take you to the next level, and it is investing in your future. And I was having a conversation with one of my friends that I used to work with, and she said something about she quit her job and then went to work for somebody else, you know, searching for something that she felt good about. And it's just, life is just about following, like working really hard for your dream instead of working hard for somebody else's. So yeah, and that's not bashing a traditional 9-to-5 job if you're really happy there at all. But if you're not happy and you want to make a change, this could be it. So you might as well take a chance on yourself, because you're the only person that can change your life.
Absolutely, that's a great point. And it also could be that someone hasn't learned a lot of these principles, that they actually could look at whatever they're doing in a different way, or at least come to the conclusion of, hey, whatever I'm doing, I'm going to get back and go all in at this, or I'm going to actually do something else. The worst place to be in is the place where you say, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not going to leave. I'm not really going to do it. I'm not going to, you don't want to be in that middle place. You want to make decisions. And if you can learn the information to learn what life's about, what you're passionate about, how to be that leader to make a difference regardless of the position of what you're doing, then that can be powerful. And, I'll finish with one last story. I remember being at an event. It was a Tony Robbins event, and sitting there. It was the 4th day of an event. It was the deepest event that he holds, and I don't know if deep is the right word, but it's like the most intense training that he does. And I remember sitting there next to my partner that I had for the week. They match you up with someone, and Tony does like one of these interventions where he helps someone overcome a challenge, and he does it in front of the whole group. And I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I can't move, like literally, like I cannot move. And my partner says, are you all right? And I said, yeah, I think I'm all right. He's like, what's wrong with you? And I go, there's nothing wrong with me. I said, what's interesting, though, is I cannot believe that the difference between someone who just shows up to an event like this and participates and someone who never shows up to an event like this and doesn't participate. I mean, there's people at this event that were on the verge of divorce, and then they go on to be married for the rest of their lives. There are people that could never lose weight, and now they lose weight, and now they're passionate about life. There's people that were really down on life, and they changed their whole life. And yeah, they're the ones who did it, but all they had to do to get that process started was just show up. And the reason that made me kind of like paralyzed for a second was I couldn't believe that, not that it's easy, but it's that simple. Sometimes all you have to do is sign up, show up, listen, pay attention, and an idea will hit you. Something will hit you, and if you take action when that thing comes along, you can change your entire life. So I'll just leave you with that. If you're someone looking to take your life to the next level, make a change, look out for that information from us. You can tell we're really excited about it and passionate about it. We'd also love to have you at a future mastermind, but that's a conversation for another day. But have a great day, guys. Live the movie. Remember, you are always the answer. We'd love to see you in the academy, and be looking out for the resources coming out tomorrow.
Awesome.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.